Hello, welcome to Real Raccoon Talk with the Horsemen of Blackopolypse. Today we have a special guest, Nijiama Smalls, out of Washington. Yeah, Washington. Miss Smalls is an author of the book Healing. Oh, actually, I'm trying to get the right title here. I know. I should know this. Healing Wounds of Black Women, Black Girls Bible. No, I can't read it.
The Black Girl's Guide to Healing Emotional Wounds.
The thing is, I got all the notes in front of me, but I lost the page. I'm gonna get that right one day, but you know, it's really cool. Anyway, welcome, Miss Smalls.
Why am I muted? I'm trying to speak, man. I can't hear myself speak. I was telling you what the book was.
Oh, was you saying
it? On my screen. Yeah.
Oh, you got the book on the screen?
Us, Nigel.
My man started off with the Bible. I'm like, what?
No. The Bible. I was thinking is the Black Girl's Bible to Healing Emotional Wounds. Yeah, because
close.
That's a pretty good title too. It's a good title. Come on.
Yeah, that's a next book.
That's the next book. Yeah, that's the next book. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh dear.
So, Miss Smalls, how are you coping at the moment with everything? Yeah.
Great question.
That's
a very good question. I am coping.
Mm-hmm.
I do have some coping skills that I have had to use and to rely on during this time, because it's hard. I am married to a Black man. I have a young Black son, so I worry about them both. My neighborhood is where I live. It's predominantly white.
Oh, okay.
So my husband, he likes to go running at night to kind of clear his head, and sometimes he'll wear a hoodie if it's a little breezy, and I won't let him leave the house at night alone, especially with a hoodie, because, you never know. I never know when he's going to be profiled.
Yeah.
But we are, aside from that, we are just trying to stay sane and hoping that not just our family, but, as Black people, we can all heal and grow from this. I am happy. I will say I am happy about, because we have I think we've gotten a lot of people's ear, right? I think the video of George Floyd, you couldn't deny what you saw in the video. And if you have a heart, it moved you, right? It really,
absolutely,
it's different. So I think that, there's a lot of change that's going to be, that's in the talks right now. Yeah. And, a lot of Black people, we are mobilizing ourselves and coming together as a community, not just with, not just amongst Black people, but with white people, our white counterparts.
Yeah, sure.
I am happy about all of that. We'll see where it all ends up.
Yeah, I think I share the same view. Obviously, I'm like 46 now. I've seen a lot of bad things happen, more so in America, heard bad things, and seen the riots, seen the uproar, seen the little bit of plaster that they put over to say, oh yeah, we're going to build you a community centre, or oh yeah, we're going to make sure you can have a youth club. But what they don't do, they haven't been working on the foundation. Now, obviously, America and the UK, we're different. We split. Where the UK has tried to, multiculturalism and whatever, America, and the American history. I mean, when you realise that, what the way they treat people of colour is written in their law and in their statute. When you realise that laws have been created, that you can be away from your family forever for the smallest thing, and then they then turn around and have this cheek to say, oh yeah, Black men, they're absent from their families. No, it's because you make them absent from their families. And when you realise this is indoctrinated and created in. Because I didn't know all this. I mean, I suppose I kind of played a little bit ignorant, not ignorant as such, but America's it's deep. You know, I was told Wayne this week, you know, go and read Jim Crow's laws. Go and watch the 13th. That gives you that. In fact, Wayne, did you read Jim Crow's laws?
I did read Jim Crow's laws. Actually, there isn't any official laws, is there? Really, it's just.
Well, that from what I gathered, that man there, that's what he put out to government to say this is how we deal with these people. And it's not being funny, man. The fact it's in circulation says to me that it is more than likely true. No one's going to keep some document from 200 years ago and say, you know what I mean? But the way that people of colour have been treated in America and in England, but more so in America, it's apartheid, man. It's apartheid. They go on like say, oh yeah, the land of the free and the brave. No. Don't lie to them. Tell them the truth. You know, I was watching the 13th the other day and watching.
That's a great
Nixon.
Documentary, by the way.
Oh my God, watching Nixon in front of all the house, all the house is white, you know. They're all like, savages, we'll pass some laws. We don't want them protesting. It's almost like they said, listen, we don't want you to actually think for yourselves. We don't want you to have any kind of goal, any end goal. So every time someone steps up and says, right, I'm going to talk to you about a different way, it's like, no, we've got to get rid of him. Man, that's terrible. Terrible, man. I watched that show, man. My heart sunk. Well, I got it. I actually understood it. I understand it now. So, and I think, it's forced me to, it's not forced me, but I get it now. I didn't understand before. I read Jim Crow and was raged about that. That was a couple of years ago. But then watching the 13th and then realising how they've created laws, man, around people of colour. Yeah. And you can have two people going to the same judge. One's one colour, one's the other. He's going away for life. He's getting the community service. You're like, what? No, man. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. No wonder in America, the African Americans are starting. They're starting 10 steps back. Every mistake that they make gets magnified 10 times worse. Mm. Yeah. And you know something, Mrs. Smalls, God bless you.
We pray for her.
That's all I can say is God bless you.
you made some very interesting points there, and you know, our president today is President Trump, right? Mm-hmm. And his slogan is "Make America Great Again."
Was it ever great?
So he's talking about the very things that you just mentioned, Nigel.
Yeah.
He wants us to go back to a time where the majority ruled, and the majority means our white counterparts.
Yeah.
But you know, Black people today, we're just not going to settle for that. You know,
yeah, sure.
We're going to fight and continue to defend ourselves and fight for our rights, and you know, to continue to make progress in this country. So you are right. There's a lot of racism here. There's a lot of systematic racism. The Jim Crow laws. I grew up in the Jim Crow South. So my parents were a product of those laws. When they had to go into separate bathrooms. And, you know, you can still see downtown in some of the malls where there were separate water fountains for whites and Blacks. And so on. So, you know, for us here, we still see all of that. It's still in our faces. We still have the statues and the monuments of Confederate soldiers that are still, that people still want to have. You know, people still ride around with the Confederate flag.
Yeah, hanging on to a past that they think was better for them. And I can't understand how anyone could see a past where you're treading on people. You know, people are under your feet. How can people see that as being better? I just don't get it. You know, I've got a Jamaican friend who's white, and when you hear this white guy speak, he sounds more Jamaican than a Jamaican.
Really?
A European Jamaican. That's a European Jamaican.
Mate, my man, I talk, you know, you have to sit back and listen to think I'm talking so, and then look back so, and then rock so. We're going to try and get him on the podcast in a couple of weeks.
Mannerisms, hasn't he?
Honestly, that's going to be a firecracker show. Well, he was telling me when he was growing up in Jamaica, he never experienced racism because Jamaicans just see themselves as Jamaican, whether you're Jamaican Chinese, Jamaican Indian, Jamaican white, you're just Jamaican. He says the first time he experienced racism was actually from a black lady in the UK because she thought, with him being a white Jamaican, that when he was talking, I don't think she could work out. But wait a second, how can this guy be Jamaican and be so white? Because he's white, he's pale, pale like snow. But he actually said that he wanted to march as well because his great grandfather was a product of a slave owner raping, right. You know what I mean? And So, yeah, man, it's got to change. I hope it's got to change. I think this we're in a different time now. They can't hide things anymore like they used to. They can't just say, "Oh well."
With cameras, and
they can't hide it. There's too much people who know. There's a lot of movements at the moment. I was reading about Martin Luther King Jr., the third, and he was saying that apparently there's some movements now because if you think about it, what's the way to hurt any country? It's money, isn't it? Now, if you think of the black economy in America, he said it's worth £1 trillion. Now, if you consider the American debt's probably $4 trillion, that's a whole heap of money that the black people spend.
It's a quarter of it, quarter of the debt.
Now, if you could mobilize, 3, 4, 5 million black people or more to say, listen, whenever you want to spend money, let's push it through a black business. Let's create a huge directory right across the UK and the US, whatever. We will just keep that money within ourselves. Mate, they come running. Oh, Lord. Oh, you can all vote. We're going to let you all out of prison. Oh, my God, yes. Oh, whatever you want to do it. But listen, change their minds.
That's a great point.
Their minds.
So that's what we are doing now, Nigel. We are mobilizing ourselves, and we have boycotted. That's why you may have seen some of the advertisers from these big companies, Starbucks, Amazon, and so on, and they've been talking about blacking out and supporting Black Lives Matter, is because we collectively said, if you don't support us, we won't support you. Yeah. We can take our black dollars elsewhere. See, we're no longer at the bottom of the barrel anymore. We now have some economic power. We don't have as much as our white counterparts. Don't get me wrong. But we do have some, more than enough to say, if we pull our money out and take it over here, your competitor is going to win. So we are doing that. And to address another thing that you said, Nigel, how is it that a person can feel, or a group of people can feel that they're better than other people? That is the driving force of imperialism. That has been centuries and centuries ago. That is how the Europeans conquered the world, took spices and raw materials and so on for themselves, and pillaged and did all of these other things, is for power. But it was that whole thinking that we are supreme beings, or they are supreme beings. But they came up with that themselves. No one, God didn't,
delegate the role
of that power upon them. They did that. And it doesn't, because they said it doesn't make it right. So they've conditioned for generations and generations. They have conditioned their people to believe that they are better than us.
And I think this does go back to what is taught, because if you actually think about it, some of the ancient civilizations of South America, Egypt, Africa, what they now call, the different Middle East, whatever. These guys were in advance of the Europeans, way, way, way in advance.
Oh, yes.
So It's almost like, well, hold on a second. These guys are in front of you. Oh, let's go over there, teeth their ideas, teeth their things, reduce them to rubble, and then make them almost start from scratch again while we go off. And that's the feeling you get, because when you look at some of these civilizations, where did they go? They had things in place which we still use now, still marvel at now, irrigation, all those kind of things for farming and so on and so forth. So, it's an illusion. And I think they need to teach everybody, not just black people. We need to know our history anyway, because again, this is something else. My history stops probably 150 years ago, if I can trace it. Before that, it's something else, and I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for me, that's something else that needs to be looked at. But, they need to be teaching if they're going to teach history, teach history. Don't just teach about,